remain in a hotel?
I did, ma'am.
That will be useful, won't it, Carson? Are you all set for the wedding?
Of course he is. Carson's motto is be prepared.
I'm afraid Baden Powell has stolen it.
But you have all the help you need.
Well, I wouldn't fight the idea of a second footman, my lady.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I sometimes think it's time we lived in a simpler way.
I agree. Much cattle, much care.
Always supposing we have the choice.
Oh, don't say that. It's our job to provide employment. An aristocrat with no servants is as much use to the county as a glass hammer.
I knew this would happen. Typical.
What's typical?
I'd wind up looking after Mr. Matthew. That's all I need. He hasn't thought it through. I'm sorry to say, but he hasn't.
Are you worried for your job, Mr. Moulsley?
Me? Oh, heavens, no. No. I'm essential to Mrs. Crawley. She relies on me. That's what he said. Essential.
Oh, yes, we're all essential until we get sacked. How was it?
Alfred was confused. He thought he'd been transported to the Hotel Metropole.
Cheer up. You'll get the hang of it.
Will I?
You're still here, Mr. Moulsley.
I know. I only walked over for a cup of tea and a chat, and I've outstayed my welcome.
Nonsense. Why not have a bite with us? They won't be leaving for a half hour or more.
No, I better get back. I wouldn't want them to get home and me not be there to let them in.
No, you wouldn't. Not when you're essential.
And why is he coming all the way here? Why not say it on the telephone?
I have no idea.
If Mr. Swire's lawyer wants to see you and it's urgent, it means he's left you something.
I doubt it. I would have heard long before this. Anyway, I hope not.
Why?
Matthew, do come on. The chauffeur's freezing to death, and so am I.
Are you looking forward to the wedding?
What do you think?
I'm looking forward to all sorts of things.
Don't make me blush.
Matthew!
Dearest Pa, tell me, did you send the money? Please say yes.
What money?
Hello, Tom. Welcome to Downton.
I hope I am welcome, your ladyship.
Of course. Alfred, would you take the luggage for Mr. Branson? There's tea in the library.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. Carson.
Is that Mr. Charkham I saw leaving?
Yes, he said to make his apologies. He was late for his train.
What did he have to say for himself?
I don't know where to start. Basically, it seems that Reggie Swire did not wish to divide his fortune. So when Lavinia died, he made a new will with a list of 3 possible heirs, of which I was the 3rd.
Why didn't the first name succeed?
He died before Reggie. The same epidemic that killed Lavinia. But at first, they thought that the second heir, a Mr. Clive Pulbrook, would be easy to trace.
How much money are we talking about?
A lot. A huge amount. I had no idea. You could never have told it from Reggie's way of life.
Lucky Mr. Pulbrook.
Well, this is it. Sometime before Reggie's death, Pulbrook travelled to the east, to India, to some tea plantations he owned there.
And?
He's never been heard of since. They've made inquiries, they've sent an agent out to visit his property. There's no sign of him.
I'm sorry, I won't. And that's flat.
Then you'll have to do it, Mr. Carson.
I'm not dressing a chauffeur.
He is not a chauffeur now. Anyway, you don't have to dress him. Just see he's got everything he needs.
I'm not often as one with Mr. Barrow, but no.
Then Alfred must do it.
Alfred? He wouldn't know what to do beyond collecting dirty shoes outside the door.
Well, he'll have to learn.
Is it an Irish tradition?
What? She means not changing.
Of course it isn't, Granny.
It might have been. You don't change on the first night of a voyage.
No, milady, I don't own a set of tails. Or a dinner jacket either. I wouldn't get any use out of them.
Well, I hope you own a morning coat since you're here for a wedding.
No, I'm afraid I don't.
We live a completely different kind of life, Papa.
Obviously.
Could you lower it a bit, please, Mr. Carson?
You should buy a Downton wardrobe and leave it here. Then you won't have to pack when you come. What a good idea.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I can't turn into somebody else just to please you.
More's the pity.
Oh, no, why should you change to please us?
What is the general feeling in Ireland now?
That we're in sight of throwing off the English yoke.
Do you approve of the new act?
Do you approve of your country being divided by a foreign power?
Well, won't it bring home rule for Southern Ireland nearer?
Home rule on English terms presided over by an English king.
Is keeping the monarchy a problem?
Would it be a problem for you to be ruled by the German Kaiser?
Carson, you're right. I've been very clumsy, my lord. I do apologise.
Is it true that Irish gardens have more variety than ours?
Oh, yes. Don't you remember Lady Dufferin's ball at Clandeboy? The gardens there were heavenly.
I thought them very down on him. That's just because you know nothing.
And wasn't he down on them? Insulting our country, insulting the king? I thought it was a miracle his lordship held his temper.
But it must be hard, Mr. Carson, to sit up there with people who used to drive around.
It is hard, Mrs. Hughes. Please, sit down.
Is there something we can do, sir?
I just wanted to come down to say hello. I wouldn't want you to think I got too big for my boots.
That's nice.
I hope you and Lady Sybil are well.
We are, thank you. And we've been following the story of Mr. Bates. Mary keeps us informed. Still, I mustn't interrupt your dinner.
Thank you for coming down. He's settled into his new life.
Mary keeps us informed.
Well, he knows her now.
What's that got to do with it? His lordship would never call her Mary when talking to me, never. He wants to play their game. He better learn their rules.
Tomorrow, let's ask the servants to come up and dine with us to make things easier.
You must get him to stop calling Granny Milady and Mama.
We need something that doesn't sound too stiff and grand.
Lady Grantham, of course. And he can call me Lord Grantham.
That doesn't sound stiff or grand at all. One step at a time. So what did the lawyer want? I presume he turned up.
He did, and it's rather complicated. But you were right, it was about Reggie's will.
So he's left you something?
Never mind that now. Just sit down and tell me about the relations that are coming for the wedding. I want to unscramble them in my head.
Go to bed when you're done.
I'll go to bed when I'm ready.
What's happened to you? Have you swapped places with your evil twin?
I'd like to know where the new kitchen maid is. That's what you promised. They've got a new footman. Where's the kitchen maid?
I know, and I'm sorry, but I spoke to Mr. Carson tonight and they won't be taking anyone new on.
Except a footman.
I don't know how Mr. Carson managed it because his lordship's put his foot down. But you called my assistant now and you've 7 shillings extra every month.
You've still kept me here with a dishonest representation.
Oh dear. Have you swallowed a dictionary?
Somehow none of it seems to matter when we're in Dublin. Class and all that just seems to fade away. I'm Mrs. Branson and we get on with our lives like millions of others. But here he feels so patronised. And he hates it. But you don't regret it? No, never. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. I just wish you knew him. Darling, we will know him. We'll know him and value him. I promise. Anyway, I best go upstairs. sure he's not too suicidal. Good night.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if Mama's told you, but the whole Gray family's coming tomorrow night.
Including Larry. Crikey.
You'd better warn Tom. Oh, and Sybil, if I were you, I wouldn't tell Papa about being Mrs. Branson.
But who are the Greys? Why does it matter that they're coming?
The father, Lord Merton, is Mary's godfather. But Larry Gray used to be keen on me when we were young.
You keen on him?
No, don't think so. I can hardly remember, to be honest.
So what are you saying?
Nothing particularly. But we could run into Ripon and find some tales. We have the money.
I won't spend more of that money.
All right. But please don't talk about Ireland all the time. I just want to make things easier for you.
For me or for you? Don't disappoint me, Sybil. Not now that we're here.
Shall I order the car?
I don't think I can refuse a lift with Mother and then make the poor man go out again.
I'll walk.
It might rain.
Then I'll get wet. Now come and kiss me.
So if they can't find Mr. Pillbox, what will you do with the money?
Pulbrook, and they will find him.
But if they don't?
Then I'll decide what to do. Or we will. Because I can't keep it.
No, of course not.
Why were you so heavily invested in one enterprise? Wasn't it foolish? Has some of my fortune been lost?
Some. Almost all.
Oh, my dear.
It's not so good for you.
Don't worry about me. I'm an American. Have gun with travel.
Oh, thank God for you. Anyway.
You know what? I'm glad we have a wedding to celebrate. Let's make sure it's a great day. If it's to be our last, let's make it a wonderful last. And enjoy our lovely home and the lovely people we spent our life among.
Bit early for drowning your sorrows. Thought it might be better if I moved down to the pub.
You're not serious.
I can't go through too many more dinners like last night.
You don't make it easy for them. You really think you can recruit Cousin Robert for Sinn Féin?
I don't know what gets into me. I can see them staring, and I know they don't want me here.
Well, don't include me. Or Mary.
She wasn't too keen on the idea of a chauffeur for a brother-in-law.
Forget that. She's a pragmatist.
She could be a tough fighter, too.
Well, let's hope she's not tested. Now, forget this and walk back. We're brothers-in-law with high-minded wives. We better stick together.